Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming back to hear what I have to say about the market. I want to go over May 23rd, Thursday's price action. I didn't get a chance to post that video. This is my second time recording this because the first time I didn't have notes. I'm still working my way through this whole thing, learning how to do this. So let's just get right into it. This candle right here took both sides of Wednesday, okay? But I want you guys to see something. I'm going to be honest, I was not paying close enough attention to the daily chart on Thursday. So this took me by surprise. If you looked at my very first video ever on this channel, I was writing about how I expected price to go at least below here, at least below this candle right here, because of this candle. This is an inside candle. I'm going to take the wicks off and show you a few things. Okay, you see how the body of that candle is inside this candle? That's one bit of information. Okay, and just through study, I have learned to expect certain things, right? So I did think that price was going to go below the low of this candle. I didn't know it was going to do this. But let's take a look at some stuff as to why I should have expected price to go down on Thursday anyway. You see this body of this candle? Look at the body of this candle. Look at the body of this candle. That's a swing. Yep, because that's a rejection block. Look over here to the left. The same thing. Body, body. It's like a fish out of water. It just sticks out at you. This is on April 1st. I should have expected some kind of like strong pullback after price went over the high of the wick on this candle. If I'm yelling, sorry. Bang. I should at some point, that's what I should have been hunting over here. But again, I just wasn't paying attention. And so let's take the wicks off again. These candles are very important to me. They have become very important because I see some wild and crazy reactions over them, but you have to take the wicks off of the candle to see them. All right. So let's scrub over to here, Thursday. ICT talks about swings and what to expect on the third, not the third candle, like the fourth and the fifth candle, right? You're trying to predict outwards. Look at Wednesday's body, the opening of that candle. It's lower than the close of Tuesday. And this entire body is lower than Tuesday. That's a swing. So if when we create a swing like this, and I bet a lot of people, some people may have seen this and thought Monday was going to come down, but you shouldn't be trading on Mondays anyway, right? Or not at least the morning session. But here we have another swing with the bodies. We should have been looking to go short at some point over here. It's just a safer bet because we're also over this, over the high of the wick of this candle. Look, they pop up all the time. Look at the body of this candle, and this candle. What happens when price goes over that? Boom, down. So these are just little things that I pay attention to. Okay, so that's enough for the daily chart. I want to move to the 4-hour chart now. Okay, the only thing that I really want to point out on this, on the 4-hour, are these equal lows that were created. Low here, low here. Let's drop a line on that. Oh my God, what is going on? Okay. So, yes. And what I also didn't pay attention to is that price slammed down here, got real close to that. I don't know what I was thinking. Of course, the price is coming back down here. It gets real close to this low, and what? It goes back up, and it's just gonna leave. Come on, be for real. I just wasn't putting a bunch of things together on Thursday, which is fine. And let's go down to the hourly chart. Okay, lots of information on this chart. So, um, this was on Wednesday. This gap up happened in that hour of no trading, and price goes up, get a little of this. And when I woke up and I was seeing price come down like this in the 9 o'clock hour, because that's what this is, I was like, whoa. And I was like, okay. And as the day went on, I was like, okay, this is an obvious fair value gap right here, this 1 hour fair value gap. So we're going to do that. And we also had this inversion gap right over here. Well, we had two of them, three really. One, two, three, but I wouldn't count that. One, two. So I'm going to make an inversion a different color. But what I was really looking for was on the 15-minute chart. Okay. I saw what I needed to see here, so I was like, oh, I'm just going to get it on the retracement, right? Um, on the retracement up 50%. Well, let's go down to 15. That never happened. It didn't happen on ES. It happened on NASDAQ, and I'll get into that later. Um, let's put our fib on the body there, down to the lowest body there. It looks like it hit 50%, but it didn't. It's like a dollar short. Now, I have seen price do that and then go back up like it did here. This is what I thought was going to happen and reach into like 62% and then come down. But price has to get into 50% before I'm willing to take a move. It never happened, guys. It never happened because it just didn't happen on ES. It happened on NASDAQ. So clear, you know? But I was looking at the wrong time frame on NASDAQ. I was looking at the 1 minute. The 1 minute. Child. Anyway, look, I wanted to show you this. Okay. So, this box is the 1 hour. This box was that 1 hour inversion. Okay. I would have loved price to come up because this is a breaker up here, but it didn't do it. So let's focus on what actually happened. A lot of people probably got into this. I'm going to take the 1 hour off and I want to show you something else. This is the 15-minute. There's probably plenty of people who got into this move right here, and that was enough for them. Okay. You see this candle right here? That went into the 15-minute fair value gap, right? But what would make price come back up there? There's two things. Besides the whole 50% thing, I didn't take this trade because I knew that wasn't the real move because of this right down here. You see that? That's the same thing we saw on the daily chart where price opens up. There's it's this is a consolidation, like it's consolidating within this candle. But there is a move. I didn't trust that that was the real move. And it happened after 10 o'clock and yeah, whatever. But what would make price come back up here? I'm just going to use the logic that ICT has given us. Number one, yes, this is a fair value gap, but on this time frame, the wick of this candle went into the fair value gap. Whenever you see that, price can come back in because it wants to put a body of a candle in the fair value gap. I see this happen all the time. And I see people online talk about how they got stopped out and they don't know what happened. You got to pay attention to like how price is delivering to the fair value gap. So the wick came in here, and not only that, look at this. Look at this. You see the high of that wick to the top of the fair value gap. That space right now, right there, is also enough for price to come back up in here. But my main concern was I wanted to see 50% and I wanted to see a body of a candle in this fair value gap. So I got one of them, but it didn't give me the 50%, and that's okay. So just keep that in mind. Just seeing a wick is cool. You can get a move off of that. But don't be surprised when you see price come back up here and put a body in that area. I say that over and over because it shows up all the time, just like it did here. In the future, which was the very next day, price came right back to this side, this candle that took both sides, and it put a body of a candle in this fair value gap. Ah, okay. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to say too. You see this candle right here? The one that went into the fair value gap. Look at the body of the candle. Start paying attention to these candles. Start paying attention to the bodies of the candle. Dun, 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 dun. I'm gonna take the wicks off. Look at that. I should have known. Because this is the same thing that happens. Same thing that happens on the daily chart. Same thing I was talking about on the daily chart. When price goes above the high of the wick of this candle, I should have been ready with my money in hand. Okay? For a move down. I'm telling you guys, I just was not paying attention until later. I don't know. Woo wee. Anyway, look what happens. Price goes up. Yeah, it goes up a little bit. But day trading is getting in an area and waiting for price to play out. You know, I don't always expect for um, my move to begin and immediately start running in my favor, because it doesn't always happen like that. Most of the time, it doesn't happen like that. And you have to think, if I'm using the 15-minute chart to get in on a play, you have to give it at least another 15, 30 minutes for it to start working out, right? So let's say you entered right as price got over this wick right here, right? But you got to wait at least an hour. Not even at least. You got to wait at least an hour and a half to see anything from that. So whenever we get into these moves, you have to think about like what time frame am I using to get it in on these plays, and then you have to multiply it, and that's the time you need to wait. In my opinion, if I get in on a 15-minute chart, I need to at least wait 30 minutes. Or maybe it's moving fast that day and it's coming down here, but I'll go more into that like in different episodes, I guess. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's see. Huge moves. I wanted to get into projection of this because pretty crazy how accurate it was. Let's scrub like this. If this is the range, right? Top, bottom, pulls up, we expect another leg down. This is the fulcrum point right here. That means I'm expecting, even if you were here, right? Even if you were watching this and you were watching as this candle was forming, You now see that price wanted to go from here to here because it's exiting the range. Okay, so this is the fulcrum point because it wants to exit the range to give you another leg down. So we take our fib. This is the 15-minute time frame now. The body to body. Do, 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 do. Oh, would you look at that? The literal low. The low of this candle is 5273.50. This negative 2 right here, 5273.75. I think the 15-minute chart needs to be the highest you should go when you're doing projections for intraday projections. I learned that the hard way, but it works for days like this. um, let's see. There's another projection I want to show you, but it's on a much lower time frame. 1 second. Okay, we're on the 5-minute chart. Another thing I should have picked up on, I'm telling y'all, I was just not on my game on Thursday. Because I love catching reversals. I do. It makes me feel so good just knowing that I saw something that I saw and I did something that majority of the world was not doing or expecting. That just it's such a great feeling. It's very validating. Um, that's okay. So this fair value gap here on the way up, you see that price used it to go up, right? Now, I just the way that I trade, I would never think that price was, I already saw this happen here. I would never think that price was coming back down here to take another leg up. Number one, this 5-minute fair value gap right here, I mean that this yeah, this 5-minute fair value gap, but this candle right here in this candle, there is no rejection block here. A lot of times I will see a rejection block inside the fair value gap and price will come to that rejection block and it would take off. I've seen that so many times. But these are equal bodies. And I mean, and the rejection block that forms is so obvious, like you can't miss it. This is equal bodies. This is just one of those trades where it's like, the fact that this is coming down, this is suspicious. You know, um, I hope nobody tried to get in on that fair value gap, but I was I did want to take this short right here, but what I have been noticing is that sometimes price will put this body through the fair value gap and it will still produce like a bullish move. So I waited. And I waited too long, to be honest with you. Um, I do want to talk about this low right here because I know a lot of people thought this was going to be where the stops were, but I'm going to show you why that was just not the case. And it was never going to be the case. Okay, so I'm on the 1-minute chart now. Show you some stuff. Do you see a lot of, I know they saw it. Everybody saw this. They saw this fair value gap and they saw this right here. They saw all of this. Um, no. If prices come down this low and there was already a divergence between NASDAQ and ES up here, okay, where NASDAQ went higher on that candle right there. It comes down all this low. You would expect it to move a little faster to get out of there if it really wanted to go up. So people saw this bounce right here. They've been listening to all the right stuff with ICT, and it pulls up and then it slams down. I bet a million people got here in this on this low thinking it was going to go further up. But here's the problem. In what world do they bring price down this low, about $3 away from the low, just to slam it down into the low to go up? They don't they don't bring price that close to where the stops are. The point is try to scare people and not give them a chance to get in. If the stops were really here, they would have started slamming this from really hard all the way into this, making everybody believe like price is not going to turn around there. You know what I mean? But I see people get tricked all the time in these Discord channels and stuff because of this small little bounce right there. It's too close to the bottom. It's too close to the bottom. So, um, it's just if you really believe that the stops were here, you should have expected price to keep slamming down and not pausing right there. That's too close. It should have slammed into the stops because they don't like to give you a chance to get in. So I know this shook a lot of people when it came down like this and just kept going. Plus, let's not forget, this low is very close to the 4-hour equal lows. So which one would they go for? 4-hour equal low, higher time frame wins. Now, I know it sounds like I'm talking like I took this trade. I didn't take this trade, baby. I was in here struggling with my emotions. I took this trade down here. This is the this is the trade I took where it was just, all the money had been made. All the money had been made already. I was like, I'm just here for my scraps. Like, I got in on this breaker right here. Oh, Lord. Okay. So this is a breaker. This is a breaker and an OTE setup. So I knew I was good to take it at least for a few points, but I knew that I couldn't hold it long because we had already come down we already came down a lot. Remember on OTEs, you need at least 4 candles into the retracement. So that's 1, 2, that's not enough. 1, 2, that's not enough. This is about 7 candles up. That's enough, right? So we have a breaker there with that candle. We have a fair value gap here with that. The bodies are staying in all of that. So I just decided to get in. I think I got in. Where did I get in? Child, I got in somewhere in here. I knew I was safe, at least to take it down. $5. That's really all I wanted. But I ended up getting like $8. And then I got out. Some of these days I will be posting my executions. So, but not all days, just some days. And yeah, that's about it. I wanted to show you the divergence on NASDAQ and ES. Okay, so this happened during the lunch hour, like right at lunch too, guys. You see this high? These are the same highs. Also, this is in the 50% area for on NASDAQ. NASDAQ made it into the 50% retracement. I'm kicking myself that I just did not pay attention to that. But anyway, you see this candle right here, 1201? 1201 hits the high of 1156. While at the same time that's happening, um, ES is not doing that. And then ES consolidates. So I knew that it wasn't going higher, but this was lunchtime. It's lunchtime. My eyes needed a break. So let's focus on NASDAQ. This is in the 50% area, and it also makes a breaker, right there. High, low, higher, high. And this is OTE, right? You could have took that down. But not just this candle right here is the breaker. All of these candles, these three down close, that whole thing's a breaker. So boom, boom. Look, all the bodies are staying in that. So that would have been good to go. And let's see. And if you were trading NASDAQ, let's look at the projection on that. What I should have done, should, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Okay. But if I'm trading ES, let's say I'm doing my combine or I'm in a funded account, I can trade the chart that is the clearest or the chart that's trading the way that I would expect price to trade. So even if I'm trading like an E-mini contract, it was NASDAQ that went up into 50% and hit a breaker. It was NASDAQ that did all that stuff. I could have traded the timing of NASDAQ with an E-mini contract. That's how you do that. Because ICT talks about that all the time. Well, maybe a couple of times. But you trade the chart that's the clearest, you know? And to me, NASDAQ is clear all the time. So this is the projection on 15-minute chart with NASDAQ. Boom. Almost nailed the complete bottom. I wanted to say that this same projection on ES, the projection went straight down to the high of a daily candle. So that's something to remember, because when price is coming from a premium down into a discount, when it's falling, right, you should expect it to hit highs before it hits lows, right? It's going to fall on top of a high before it gets down here. That's what's happening. Up, and as price is falling, it's going to hit the high first before it gets to a low. So when price is coming down, and we're looking for places where it could bounce, we should be looking at daily highs. And then when price is going up, we should be looking at lows as well. I think some people just they hear ICT say, oh, it's going to daily highs and lows, and they don't know which way to look, depending on where price is traveling from right now. I hope that made sense. Anyway, thank you so much. I know this video was a little bit longer, but I think it was really informative. I think there was a lot in there. Um, can't wait to make more of these. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.